CMJ's Epic Quest. 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 CMJ's Epic Quest.
Hey everybody, welcome back to D&J's Epic Quest. I am Justin. Alongside me here is my co-host.
Dren, or Derek, call me what you will.
Will do. And then we also have
Lorix Lyric. I am here, ready to celebrate the goodness that is my artwork. The most beautiful thing in the world.
Most.
What? I can't hear anything you say today. Purposefully ignoring you.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Way to be like everyone else in my life.
Had to join the club. Can't beat them, join them.
All right. Well, today we're covering chapters 15 and 16 from Curse of the Fallen. I suppose we should probably do our Silverstones thing. If you haven't already, please do check out Silverstone's books at silverstonesbooks.com. They have been gracious enough to give us a code, DJ Quest. So use that code to get 10% off any purchase. Yeah, go check them out.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else, so I don't know if anybody's used that or if it's still just been our buddy Mick down in Australia. He may be the only one that's used it so far, at least that we've heard. So, patrons, in order of subscription, feel a little out of practice on this. I feel like it's been a while since we recorded. First, we have Jan, the Picker of Pies, Luciana Etrigan, Ryan, the Topological, Damien, the Rock of Faces, Nate, Fiddle Me This, Shield Anvil Dylan, Quartermaster, Master Sergeant, Lieutenant Parker, and our newest, David Mulally, I think. I think we spelled that wrong. Sorry, David.
Yes, thank you all very much. We enjoy your patronage.
That head bang at the end.
All right.
What?
Oh, no, it's cool. It's cool. I've got some snoring in my background, so forgive me.
I just heard it.
She's a little sleepy. That's fine.
Oh my god.
All right. All right. Chapter 15, Ballads and Bards. And the chapter 15 epigraph here. Of all things I've loved you the most. Lork to Vader.
Sounds like
yeah,
Darth Vader.
Every time I say it, I think of Darth Vader.
That's funny.
I mean,
have we met Vader yet?
No, just through stories, which may have been exaggerated some.
I don't think they told any exaggerated stories of her. Lork talked about her a lot.
He's a bard, and he exaggerates his stories, so I just assume I'm template matching here. I'm just assuming that's what he does.
I mean,
so
I think Mir has talked about him in front, or talked about her in front of Cloud, and Lorik got really upset about it and told her not to talk about Veda in front of anybody else. Stuff like that.
That's fair. All right. Well, chapter 15 here. We're going to have snoring and barking in this episode. All right. Nier walked alongside Lorik as the group made their way down the desolate high road. Being so close to the border left the roads fairly empty, which Nier was thankful for. She gazed at Cloud and imagined the destruction of Schmedelund and the war with his people. The Brotherhood would never stand for an elvish invasion, and with the appearance of creatures of dark, left Nier feeling an uncertainty of the future of their land.
I can't believe it. Elves in Leroth? The Order's going to be knocking on our doors soon enough with you using your magic and these elves running around.
If I hadn't used it, we would be dead. I couldn't defeat those warriors without it.
Elves are superior fighters, Nier. It was foolish running in there alone anyhow.
Nier stiffened with anger because she knew he was right, but she refused to admit it. She couldn't allow the innocent to suffer, even in the face of defeat. Too often she had witnessed those with power unleash their wrath on the destruction of people too weak to defend themselves. Her thoughts shifted to her injured arm. She heard Lorik ask her if she was good for the millionth time. He had been much more attentive to her lately, as she's not prone to show such weakness, but she didn't mind it, as it felt nice to have someone care so deeply for her well-being. Nira's thoughts about the harsh teachings of her training during the Order of Brotherhood and Ryman ignoring her pleas for a break or cries of mercy when the bruises and welts became unbearable. Did I screw up Ryman?
No, you do call it the Order of Brotherhood instead of the Broken Order of Brotherhood. The Order of Brotherhood.
My bad. I was multitasking when I wrote this, so...
But no, Ryman's right.
She couldn't say that she minded it now, though, as those harsh lessons made her strong and a capable fighter. But still, she wondered how she would have fared had she been raised with a more gentle and nurturing approach. Nier was torn from her thoughts as Lorik had said her name. Remembering what he had asked, she told him that she was fine.
It's been 2 days since we passed the border, and we still ain't there yet. Should be getting close, yeah?
Not too much longer. I'm sure by nightfall we'll make it to Voldy.
She was speaking of the nearest settlement alongside the high road. It was a larger community with many members being the Brotherhood, which undoubtedly contributed to its growth.
I just hope no one gives us any trouble with him. What kind of magic can he do anyhow, besides teleporting around?
Why don't you ask him?
I've got something better I need to ask.
What's that?
You'll see. I've been practicing my Elvish all morning.
Let's hear it then.
All right. The glue's on fire. Friends, sit the brick. I can't see you guys.
That was good. All right. Nier. That was good. Nier's eyes went wide with amusement and pity. She wanted to tell him the truth, but when Cloud turned on him, she couldn't help but to continue to tease her friend. Lorik bowed to him unnecessarily, and Nier choked back a laugh as Cloud's face looked confused. Lorik repeated the phrase, and Cloud looked even more confused. He looked at Nier in hopes for an explanation.
You heard the man.
Did I? What is he saying to me? Some more racist bullshit?
Isn't it obvious?
No. I'm done with your silly mind games. Cloud walked away. Lorik barked in his native language.
What? Why not? Nier, help me out here.
Sorry, nothing I can do.
Bollocks, the whole lot of you.
Nier chuckled and linked her arm with his. She leaned onto his shoulder and held him close as he shook his head in disappointment.
My legs are killing me. Wish we had a horse or could teleport from place to place.
Would be nice, huh?
Ask if he can do it.
Cloud, are you able to teleport with others?
Yes, except those that have hatred for Eve in their hearts. Ha! I can't do it. Okay, all right. Yes, except those that have hatred for Eve in their hearts. Ha!
You're laughing at your own joke. I love it. This is not part of this is not canon dialogue, people. Cloud does not talk like a caveman.
Okay. Give me one. I gotta hide your faces. All right. Yes, except those that have hatred for Eve in their hearts. Ha! I make a joke. No, I can only move in small jumps, and only the objects attached to my clothes or in my grasp may teleport with me. Near translated to Lork, and he pissed and moaned quite noisily. We should rest for the evening. I'll hunt. You two set up camp.
That was so menacing. You two set up camp.
This is bullshit. I don't know.
I fear for my life now. I better make this camp.
I joke.
Cloud, don't fuck around.
Yeah.
This is the dialogue I should have given him. Maybe people would like him more.
I don't know.
The more you get to know Cloud, the more funny you'll realize how funny this dialogue actually is.
Before Lork could get a word in, Cloud had disappeared. Near urged the bard to get to work, as they wouldn't want to anger Cloud. Lork asked if she was afraid that he'd show his real colors.
No, I just don't want him to leave us behind. We need him to get through the trials of blood. No offense, but you aren't exactly the sword-wielding heroic type.
Lork playfully pushed Near's head.
Sure got your buns out of that fire back in Manders when we were neck-deep in Blades territory, and again in Regalen's Keep when we were ambushed by those giant cave crickets, and again
you made your point. Guess you're stronger than I give you credit for.
I ain't much of a fighter, but I can protect my own when I need to.
We've been through a lot, haven't we?
Of course. Can't write good ballads if I don't got good stories to tell.
So I'm just source content. Is that it?
You know it.
Near cut him a glare, even though her scrunched smile was enough to show her true emotions. Lork chuckled as they continued gathering materials to create a small campfire. They settled far enough from High Road to keep themselves hidden. If any undesirable saw them close to the road, there would surely be an altercation. As the sun began to set, they sat by the small campfire and feasted on some elk. Claude stared longingly at the note in his hand. Near still wanted to know how Ezael was, but she would never dare to ask. It was clear that Cloud was tied to her. A light shuffling of leaves broke the silence, and Near turned to investigate the sound. She imagined the creatures of darkness looking for a meal. These creatures of fairy tale had come to life, and it sent her heart in her throat.
Hey, Near. It weren't really whispers that got the village, was it? Surely, them creatures don't exist.
Near stared further into the darkness before finally turning away.
You saw the Spindra. Those are creatures of darkness too.
But those are normal ones. Giant spiders and mutated canines. Whispers are something else entirely. They're monsters.
Lork's words had gotten to Near, as the reality of their presence was enough for her. She tells him to shut the fuck up and keeps his eyes open. They have a quick conversation about going back to the road. A bright orange light broke through the canopy in glistening columns. Lork's eyes moved to watch them.
The couriers are sure to be coming through soon. I'll bet I can talk them into letting us ride to Valde. Your arms needs looking at anyhow.
Near huffed, as she was tired of arguing and wished for silence. Before she could speak, Lork blurted out that he had a plan. She motioned for him to speak, and with a nod, he leaned closer.
Couriers and merchants always travel until nightfall, and Valde is a big place. If we wait by the road until one travels by, I can make up some sob story about getting robbed and needing a lift into town. You and Cloud can sneak into the cart while I'm causing a scene.
Lorik, that's actually a good idea.
Why are you acting so surprised? I've gotten your eye out of hot water a time or two with this here wit. Some say I'm even smarter than you.
Who? The people in your storybook.
Near explained the plan to Cloud, and together they snuffed out the fire. As the sun slipped beyond the reaches of the horizon and the world was dark, they waited nearly an hour before they heard hooves and a soft creak of a carriage headed their direction. Lork told them to get ready. As the noises grew closer, they could hear a man with a southern accent calling out to his horse, Truffles. Lork took a deep breath and then pounced from the bushes. The horses reared at their sudden need to stop. The merchant cried out to calm his horses. Lork introduced himself as Ebard. and apologizes for startling the horses. The merchant asked Lorik where he had come from and why was he out in the woods by himself. Near watched the act in astonishment as Lorik told his fake story. The merchant, after hearing the tale, said that he didn't want any funny business as he's got a whip. Lorik gives his thanks and then attempts to climb onto the bench. The wagon shifted and he slipped. He eyed the covered cart that Cloud and Near had just climbed into. The merchant asked if he was all right, to which he said he was. He got up and then sat next to the merchant. They strike up a conversation about the order.
I had no idea the order was stepping into Lynn.
Oh, yeah. It's big news. Took out most.
Mr. Minnesota.
Yeah,
here.
I know. It's a Southern accent. I'm not very good at Southern.
It's actually more of like a Scottish accent.
Oh, so like Gilly.
Like Lorik. Well, I guess it's more like not Scottish. More like Lorik's accent.
Gotcha.
Not Southern like me. Southern like Lorik.
Oh, yeah. It's big news. I can't do Irish. I don't even remember. Eric, you just...
It actually isn't even Irish. I thought it was Irish, but it's a Cockney. All of my UK friends have corrected me on this.
Derek, you'll have to do it in a different voice.
Oh no, he's doing all right. He's good enough.
What?
You're good enough.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm gonna quit talking.
All right.
Sense.
Then I'll just keep going. Oh yeah, it's big news. Took out most of Armenia and berided. Fucking daffodils. I'd give him a piece of my mind if I had the stomach for a fight. I guess that's why I'm selling tapestries instead of swinging weapons around, eh?
What brought you out this way? It's a rare thing to see a southern man out of Ravenshire.
The merchant lightly snapped his reins, and his horses walked down the dark road. Lorik peered through the trees, glad to be out of the wilderness and closer to civilization. Things are changing. I saw a priest, Elader, strike down a small girl just for being accused of sorcery. I know her since she was a tiny babe, but then priests and shamans don't care. Neither did the people of the village. Even her own two parents bowed down to the priest when their only daughter was cut down before him. I'll never trust in a thing like that, if that's what the divine's after, striking down children for being born different. Then they can find faith in someone else.
What happened to your voice?
I don't know.
It slowly transformed
Yeah.
into Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, it's
Like,
cool.
what happened?
It's cool. He mixes it up.
I'm never believing anything like that.
This is how I work out how to find the voice. So it's cool. We'll just stick with it because I don't want to read it again.
Sounds good.
I'm not an actual voice actor, so.
Oh, you don't say.
No. Lorik nodded sadly. He knew the stories as the Brotherhood often reminded its members of the horrors inflicted by the Order and their followers. He was no stranger to it, having had trouble within his own family and their pious beliefs. It was the reason he abandoned his home and found himself at the doorstep of the rebel movement. The merchant leaves and the sad story behind them and introduces himself and his horses. Near was unable to hear their conversation as it was muffled from being in the back of the cart. She stared out the back and watched as they moved slowly down the road. Flashes of her time hiding in the cart just like this, after her escape from the Order, flooded her mind. When the merchant ultimately found her, he sold her to the sword and sheath. She was only 10 years of age when Madame Tilly bought her as her kitchen wench, and only 12 when she was no longer allowed to refuse the advances of the hungry patrons. Near was brought back to the reality when Cloud's foot slipped as they hit a bump in the road. The lonely woods were soon replaced with the hustle and bustle of streets as they neared the town of Valday. Near readied herself as the cart passed by a wheat field and she jumped from the wagon into the grain. Cloud used his teleportation abilities to meet her where she landed. She hid in the bushes as a father and daughter walked by. When the path was clear, she motioned for Cloud to follow, and they cautiously stepped onto the road. Near and Cloud entered the growing village of Valday. Cloud pulled up his hood to better hide his face. Lorik casually met them after getting off the cart. Near took in the night sights and sounds of the throng and was reminded that her past was shrouded in anguish and misery, and she longed for the familiarity of having a home. She then spotted 3 men entering a building bustling with chatter. The sign above the door read, Illibo's Moonshine Inn.
Yes, this is it.
You wouldn't have any coin, would you?
No, and I'd be stepping into the Blade's den so you could gather that little trinket of yours. I didn't think to fill my pockets.
Cloud, You can make things appear in your grasp, right?
Cloud lifted his hand to reveal Lork's lute. The bard spun in circles trying to get the instrument back. Nier could only giggle at his antics. Inside, they found warmth and nearly 24 villagers. Many of them wore golden pendants of the Brotherhood. Shit, what is it?
Bob?
Broken Order.
Thank you.
Brotherhood?
Broken Order Brotherhood sigil. Battery operated boyfriend. Nier should have been comforted by their presence, but she had to keep to herself. Any suspicion of her identity could be costly. As they walked by tables, Cloud silently apported coins that were lying around. And by the time they reached the bar, he had a handful.
My, you've been through hells, haven't you? Worse. You've been needing a room and a bath. Just one room, and 3 of your finest ales.
After some small talk between Nier and the barkeep woman, she tells Nier to make sure that Cloud keeps out of trouble as she eyed the Eve. Nier told the woman that they weren't looking for trouble. The barkeep explains that a healer came in with the rebels, and she explains that she'll have someone fetch him so that they can be patched up. The barkeep hands them their key to their room and their ales. She turns to hand Lorik his drink, but discovers that he is no longer there. She called out to him. Looking through the crowd, she spots him speaking to a person across the room. He was speaking to another bard. The bard was a young woman, and she stepped off the stage, and Lorik took her place. A woman cried out, telling everyone to look, as it was Everett on the stage. A hush fell about the room, and the soft melody of his instrument was heard. Nier listened to the song as they flowed through the air. She had heard the song before when she was younger. It was a piece titled Veda.
All right, guys. I
could see the worry washed on your face the whole time as we got closer. You want me to sing it?
Nope, he can't. Nope, you can't sing it. It's got to be, hey, for all the bullshit y'all put me through in this episode and other episodes, this is karma. Sweet, sweet karma.
All right, I tried. Dren.
Can't bail him out.
This is the equivalent of a pie to my face here. All right. Beauty ever sweet, she caught me by surprise. One look upon her face, I'm lost in dazzling eyes. She were but just a stranger, of which I never knew. Porcelain skin and hair of black, my love it surely grew. Stunning was her voice, smooth as summer's wine. She turned and walked away from me, this maiden must be mine. A manner which I take just to hold her hand, if only she would look at me and notice who I am.
It's so beautiful.
That good, but
how
there's
is
your one
Lauren
take at
so
it.
famous with a voice like that?
There's a lot of drunk people in this world, I assume.
and he's so handsome. That's what it is.
His voice faded and heavy silence filled the room. Applause slowly sounded throughout the inn, and coins clinked against the wooden floor as patrons asked him to sing another. Women flocked to the stage, begging the bard for a night of fun. With a look at Nier, Lorik winked with a smile, and then played another one.
You're not getting another song out of me.
No, that's fine. That's fine. All right.
I will accept my Grammy award now. Thank you.
You get the esteemed Lorik Pop Award.
I'll send you a picture of a trophy in the mail.
There you go.
Perfect. That's about all that deserves.
What's after bronze? That's what we'll send you.
Yeah, right. Frankincense.
Cobalt? I don't know.
Myrrh.
It's just a chiseled rock. It's not even like gold or metal. It's just a rock.
Yeah, it's that fake metal that gives you a rash.
Yeah. Turn your skin green.
Copper?
Sure.
No, cubic zirconium. I know, I have a lot of it.
We'll give you a tungsten trophy.
Perfect. Okay. It will never be displayed proudly anywhere.
It's fine.
It actually really wasn't that bad. It was almost exactly on tune with how I have it in my head.
Like I said, I'd been been a little bit of dread about that since I read this chapter.
I can see the dread on your face. That's why I kept looking at you, and you're like,
oh God, here it is. Here it is. It's coming.
You should change your profile name from Dren to Dread.
oh.
Ooh.
Only if I could be Judge Dredd.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. I will give you props, Derek. That was great. I threw you for a lot of loops in here. Even when you were talking about the glues on fire, friends sit the brick. I almost wanted to change the word sit to shit.
You should
I should have. Yeah. Glues on fire, friends shit the brick.
I didn't even think of that when I wrote it. That's funny.
So-
I literally just wrote whatever words popped into my head first, and that's what it was. Glues on fire, friends at the break.
I want to know where the glue part though. Why were you randomly thinking about glue?
I just whatever words just popped. I just tried to just like turn my brain off and just words.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of what happened.
All right, okay. I mean, fair enough, but
I had to be as random as possible, so I was just like words, whatever words.
yeah. I didn't have a lot because I feel like it was a very transitional section. You know, they're moving from one place to the other. They have a lot of dialogue, which is really essentially covered in the way that we are formatting these summaries. The only question that I had is like when Nier and Lorik are kind of investigating the rustling of leaves when they're all sitting around the campfire. Like, is Cloud just been staring at his letter this whole time, like while all this is happening? Because we don't really ever get any mention of what he does in reaction.
Yeah, Cloud's not really too concerned about what's going on around him because Cloud, to me so far as a reader, he seems extremely confident and he seems like a little bit above like the level of Nier and Lorik. So like he knows he seems like he knows if there's anything in the forest, he's going to be able to take care of it. So he really isn't too concerned with it. And also he's very people call him a simp for Azael. So like he's just reading his letter and just like sucked into his misery at the moment.
Gotcha. As you said that, it reminded me of like how SpongeBob and Patrick annoy the shit out of Squidward. It's kind of the sense that I
They
got
are
there.
the perfect trio for this group.
So, not that, you know, that's where you were drawing inspiration from by any means, but just the way that you said that made me think of
No, that's hilarious.
SpongeBob and Patrick. Just
I have to think of like who the next character that comes in. I don't know who it is. Who is he? Plankton, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Just some angry little man trying to take over the world.
I will take over. Oh,
I mean, he doesn't really want to take over the world, but
Bikini
he's
Bottom.
very angry. That's funny. Oh man.
Along with Nier being astonished, I was actually pretty impressed as well with the way that the acting of Lorik was conveyed. It seemed super convincing to me. And again, the summary didn't do it justice because it was a fairly long chapter. So I feel like it was unnecessary to actually captivate everything that Lorik was doing, but it was a pretty captivating fake story. So I was impressed as well.
I mean, Lorik is a bard. He is a storyteller. So it kind of goes in line with, who he is. And also, he's got to be good for something, right? So, like, usually bards are kind of the face of groups. They're kind of the master manipulators or the charismatic type people that sort of can really, I don't know, get the group in and out of situations just by his words and his actions. So he's not very capable physically, but seems mentally he's a little bit more capable.
Fair enough. When the wagon shifted as Lorik slipped getting in, is that because Nier and Cloud were getting in the back that he... Okay. I just want to make sure that
It was whenever they... Yeah, I purposefully didn't explain stuff because I wanted the readers to be invested in the story and immersed enough to where when it happens, you just kind of know what's going on. But I've sort of drifted away from that at least in book 3, where I do explain a little bit more, just so people can kind of have a good understanding and not wonder. But that's why I kind of left out those details instead of, because it was sort of in his point of view at that point.
Right.
It was, but it wasn't. But I didn't want him to look back and be like, oh, Nier and Cloud must have just gotten into the cart. The cart shifted and he looked back at them, and then he just kind of kept going to kind of give you the hint that they're in the back now.
Oh no, I got it. That was just for me, my own information that was what was taking place, and not because I missed something else. But
no, and I've had a few people ask me that question. That's why I kind of wanted to over explain it a little bit, because people did ask, they're like, why did the cart just shift? I'm like, well, because people are getting in it.
Right, yeah. No, I mean, it's obvious enough. Yeah, I just didn't want to assume. And, I liked the nice little backstory for Lorik here when he's talking about the reason why he left his home and his family's pious beliefs, which I would imagine they were very big believers in the divines, whereas Lorik is not. But just thought that was a nice little additive.
I like sprinkling in backstory into like I said, I like where readers get immersed and they kind of learn as they go, instead of everything just kind of being dumped on you and you just learning it in big sections. I kind of like it to flow a little more organically, like how it did in this chapter.
Right.
So obviously you'll learn a lot more. And then Ravenshire, where Lorik is from, is the most devout. It's not a country. It's like a hold or a territory, if you want to call it that. It's the most devout in all of the human country. So they all follow the Order of Sorrow and the Divines very, very heavily in Ravenshire. And as you can see, Lorik does not. So he left.
Makes sense.
I liked the horse's name. I'm just going to throw that in now.
Ruffles.
Yeah.
It's a very horse.
It's a good name for a horse.
Because I thought that I said that the horse's name were Timmy and Annie. But he also does call it Truffles. I feel like I messed up.
Uh-oh.
Because when he said Truffles, I was like, wait. Unless the merchant's name is Tim or Timmy.
I think you're right. I don't think I put his name in the summary, but yeah.
Okay, no, that's okay. As long as I didn't mess up. Oh yeah, his name is Timmy. It says it right here on page 137. Okay, because I named them after my aunt and uncle, Timmy and Lisa. But my aunt Lisa is Lisa Ann, so the horse's name is Annie, and then the guy's name is Timmy. And then Truffles, I just like the name Truffles for a horse, so I named him Truffles. I thought I messed up though.
Fair enough.
And y'all left out Nicolette, the father and daughter that walked by. That was my cousin Nicolette. Have y'all seen Avatar: The Last Airbender by chance? The cartoon?
No.
I'll get it off of this podcast. I can't believe this. It's so good. You'll have to watch it. Well, there's this guy called the Cabbage Guy, and he's just randomly in like little snippets of various episodes, and all he does is scream, "My cabbages!" because the main group will just knock over his cart of cabbages, and he loses all of his product, and that's all he does. So he's got like a 1 second like interaction. But Nicolette is my Cabbage Guy. She has like little 1 second snippets in all of my books because she's named after my cousin who helped me. She didn't help me write it, but like she was along for the ride and kind of helped me throughout the whole thing. So Nicolette's going to be in every one of my books.
Gotcha.
That's Nicolette. If anyone noticed, I always have to point it out because I love her.
Fair enough. Again, long chapter. Just
it's okay.
that interaction. But no, good to know. Yeah. One of the other things that I thought were cool, and this is actually my last thing, was I thought it was super clever on how Cloud, just as he's walking by tables, supports coins into his hands. So I thought that was sneaky and really cool.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to get like caught.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to try to think of what to do because I hadn't really used hit the magic for anything other than fighting so far or escaping. And also they wouldn't have money because they've been like getting beat up and stuff. So I was like, well, they wouldn't really have that much money. So I don't know. I thought it was a cool little way to show magic in a different way than just combat.
No, it was good. It was a nice little added thing. It was cool. And then, I did have one more. In your song there, saying porcelain skin and hair of black, my love, it surely grew. I just wrote that wasn't the only thing that grew.
You perv.
Yeah.
and my battery operated boyfriend.
Yep.
Let's just move on to chapter 16.
All right.
We're done with your shenanigans.
All right, sounds good. I will mute myself.
Just mute him.
He can't. I'm the host.
Let's get
I
off
just
and
show up.
restart our new one.
Well, I don't have Zoom, so.
Yeah, me either. Guess that's out.
All right, Justin. We kind of need you here.
What are you talking about?
Nothing at
Yeah,
all.
you don't need me. You're fine.
Yes, yeah. No, definitely need you. Well, chapter 16 is called The Depth of Rage. HC, would you like to maybe sing this epigraph?
Hold on.
If you don't have to sing it,
No, it's okay. Come rain, come shine, the inn will sing. Bread and drinks and mugs to clink. We brothers are broken beyond repair, so we raise our glass to the old despair. Hey, that we brothers are broken beyond repair is an awkward sentence to have to chant. So I was like, did I write that right? Oh, that sounds right.
Yeah, that could be a mouthful, I suppose.
We brothers are broken beyond repair, so we raise our glass to the old despair. Brotherhood Tavern song.
Is Justin back or no?
Nope.
Oh, man, he missed it. All right, well.
He missed it. He can just replay it whenever he goes to edit the episode.
That's true, but I will wait for him.
Fine.
We'll have to see. I guess I don't know which one of us wants to be Corin.
Who has... I think Lorik should be Corin because... Well, no, Cloud doesn't really have any dialogue with him either, does it? No, she's...
I don't think so. I don't know that I can come up with another voice.
This is just a regular, just like English accent. It's easy.
Easy.
I can rock, paper, scissors for it.
We could do that.
That's how me and my husband settle our disputes. We just rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Just let fate decide. I actually bought a coin that has my name on one side and his name on the other because we are very indecisive people. So if we don't want to make a decision, we have to flip the coin, and whoever's name it lands on has to make the decision.
Oh, man. I don't know if I'd like that.
I don't like it, but it's better than not making a decision.
Usually I just tell my wife to flip a coin, so she asks Siri to flip a coin.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's what we do, but it has our names on it.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, like if he's like, I want to do our own things, and I'm like, well, I want to watch a movie. Then we flip a coin, and whoever wins gets to do what they want.
We watched The Witch last night with our kids.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be good, and like I don't know, have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
The ending
The
just
Witch?
like didn't make it.
Yeah,
didn't make any sense to me.
I didn't like it. It was very, very slow, and like nothing really happened. And then, yeah, it makes sense, but in a very convoluted. You have to look up the meaning of things and really try to think too hard. And I don't like. I didn't like it.
It had like potential. Like there were definitely parts that were like creepy, but then yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't like how it ended. Like I didn't like how. I don't want to give spoilers because people may want to watch it, but I didn't like the ending. I didn't like how it all led up to being there wasn't really a plot twist, really. You know, like I don't know.
What movie we talking?
Well, then
The Witch.
The Witch.
You didn't like it? Yeah, I wouldn't rewatch it.
No. Well, like the preview looks really freaking good for it.
Yeah, they
and
put all
then
the
we
good
watched
stuff
it.
in the
We're like,
preview.
this is kind of dumb. It just seemed like the ending was just an end.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Oh, he's gone again. Now, one movie I do like is The Ritual. I think The Ritual is really good. Not really child appropriate. I don't know how old your kids are. Well, I think Olive's like 15 or something?
They're 13 and 14, so they both watched that movie with us last night. The Ritual sounds familiar.
It's about this group who gets lost in the wilderness somewhere in the UK. I think maybe Scotland or like Scandinavia or something.
I'm pretty sure I started watching this and then I didn't finish it for some reason. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a different movie, but it
has a slow start, but it gets really interesting. If you like more like Blair Witchy sort of in the woods, weird ritual, Nordic sort of situations happening, then you might like it. It's not point of view found footage like Blair Witch though. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's like a regular movie. It's really good though. I like it a lot. I've seen it like 3 times.
Yep. We wanted to watch something spooky because it was thunderstorming basically all day here yesterday.
Oh,
So like, oh, let's we ordered a pizza and watched a movie, and we're like watched the preview for that movie, and like me and my wife wanted to watch it, and the kids were like, well, that looks stupid, and then it was.
it was
so
a
they were
lot of
little
talking.
irritated.
It was more like a spooky drama to me. The Witch was than like a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, they had a harder time with how they talked too.
Yeah,
We
I get
actually
it.
turned on subtitles for that.
I get why they talk like that. I wasn't a fan of it though. Like, I wish they would have said like maybe a few words in that archaic sort of style, but not every word. Because some of it kind of made me laugh. I was like, "This sounds dorky," and they need to stop doing
Well,
this.
yeah, my kids, they were laughing and stuff. They're like,
Yeah,
this is
like-
so fucking dumb. Like, who talks like that? And they're like, what does that even mean?
Oh my god. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why they did it. I'm just not a fan of it.
Yeah, but I do, because that guy did The Northman also, and I really liked that movie. I don't know if you've seen that one,
Mm-mm.
but it's pretty good.
Is it a movie or is it
I like-
a show?
It's a movie.
Oh, okay. I'll have to watch it.
It's got one of the Eric Northman, the guy that played Eric Northman in True Blood,
Never seen True Blood.
Skarsgård, one of the
Alexander
Skarsgård brothers.
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
All right, he's back.
All right.
Welcome back, Justin.
Sorry. All right.
He's eating.
You missed HC. She took a turn to sing.
No worries. I got it recorded.
This is true.
You can listen to it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Loop it on YouTube.
Yes, my beautiful voice.
You know what? I'm not
Hey,
actually
don't make that
Justin,
face.
we decided that you're going to be Corin.
Oh, okay. How does he sound?
Just regular.
However you want.
Yeah, just regular English accent. Just however.
Okay. Do my best.
All right. Here we go. What?
I'm not out in here.
All right. I don't even get it.
I said you're gonna rock paper scissors for who gets to do it. You said we decided. That
Oh, shit. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Whoops.
You just told him we decided he's gonna do it, and that's not the decision we made.
I feel like
I took it upon myself to make an executive decision here.
now I feel like you should have to do it.
Oh.
You want to rock, paper, scissors for it, Justin?
No, you already fucked that up. No second chances here.
Ooh.
All right. Guess you're just stuck with it then.
Oh,
The tavern slowly emptied until there were only a few drunks or homeless patrons left as the sun slipped beneath the horizon. Near sat with Cloud, taking in the warmth from the fire. A man approached from behind and said, "Excuse me." Near turned to look behind her.
Warren.
He was an old friend who had joined Bob a few years after Near had been taken in. Though they were the same age, he was now taller than Near and much more muscular, more fitting of a warrior than an apothecary.
What are you doing that way out here? I figured you'd be up north with the orders making the stunts.
heard there was trouble in the south. Maybe we should take this somewhere private.
I have a room upstairs, but the elf comes, Corin.
Corin said he didn't trust the wild elves. If she's caught with him, she's as good as dead. Near said a private room sounded like a good option and that he, or the elf, wouldn't start anything. Contrary to popular belief, not all these woodland heathens are out for blood. Near motioned for Claude to follow as they headed up to her room. They left Lork on the stage, serenading whoever was left as he tried to fill his pockets with coin. They reached Near's room and slipped inside. Corin opened a small black box that held potions and other medical supplies. He took a bottle containing a clear liquid and dumped it on a cloth and told Near to take a seat so he could clean her wound.
Oh, this is bad. What happened? It wasn't this one, was it?
No, I told you he's good.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
As he cleaned her up, the rag turned red. He grabbed some sewing supplies to stitch her up.
So, what's the story?
Near was clenching her jaw in pain.
Talk to me, Near. What's the story?
Elves. They're attacking the lower settlements.
God's body. So the rumors are true. What do they...
He's got such a modern voice. God's body. What do they want?
Okay. God's body.
Sorry.
So the rumors are true. What do they want?
I don't know. I'm hoping Ryman might have some idea.
Oh, yeah. He's one of them after all. I've got to say, Near, times are really changing. The Brotherhood is scattered, thanks to the Order coming in from every direction. Bandits, blades, thieves, and the likes are up in arms over this bounty on your head. And now elves are knocking on your back door. Just watch your back out there. If we weren't friends, I'd consider you taking you in myself. 100 gold pieces is life-changing nowadays.
He's starting to sound like Cloud.
Yeah, it's fucking... I'm playing around, leave me alone.
Everywhere I turn, someone's trying to kill me.
Welcome to the land of luxury. You've got a powerful gift. That comes with a price.
More like a curse.
Corin pulled the needle tight and tied off the gut, stitching her wound closed and wrapped it in a bandage.
At least your curse can save the world. Most of us get the shit end with nothing but a few coppers to our names. You've got something great, Near. Don't let it go to waste.
He smiled as he wiped the blood from his hands and motioned for Cloud to take Near's spot on the chair. Cloud hardly winced as he was sutured up. He told them to clean the wounds twice a day and that a normal person would probably need 2 weeks to fully heal. But given the progress they've already made, a week would probably do. Near dug out a few coins and tried to pay Corin, but he refused, saying he didn't need word getting back to Ryman that he had her pay for life-saving treatment.
Courtesy of the drunk and unaware Hillabow patrons.
Still up to no good, I see.
Old habits die hard. It was good to see you, Corin. You can share a drink with us if you like.
Thanks, but I should be carrying on. Plus, being seen with that one can put a target on my back.
Near said he had the sigil of the Brotherhood and no one would think twice about it. Corin gave her a disapproving look and told her to stay safe. The elves are no joking matter. If he wanted, he could kill her. Even with all the strength she possesses, humans are no match. Near thanked him for his caution, but said she could take care of herself. With a nod, he slipped back out the door. She looked to Cloud.
You hungry?
Cloud only nodded, and they headed downstairs and ordered some stew from the barkeep. They sat and Near looked around the mostly empty tavern. Lorik was no longer on stage, so Near could only guess at what trouble he was getting into with so many women pulling for his attention while he was on stage. Near spied a game box at an empty table. They sat, and Near asked if he knew what this was.
It's a game called Rua.
We call it cribs. Do you know how to play?
Lorik appeared with 3 mugs of ale. Is that cribs?
Where have you been, Ebed? Up to no good, I assume.
Well, of course. So we playing this or what? Come on then, elf. Let's see if a human can best you. Near smacked him in the head and said he would get his turn later. Lorik stuck out his tongue, and Cloud slammed his drink and then retched at the taste, causing the other two to spout into laughter. Valde had lived up to its reputation for having the best ale around, but she wasn't surprised Cloud didn't like it. Ryman had once explained that elves had a more sophisticated taste. Near said she loved this game, and her and Lorik used to play for hours. Cloud said he couldn't read the symbols. Near looked and realized that they were written in human writing. Sneakily, Near scribbled the elvish equivalents on the cards. When they were younger, Lorik always beat her, and she now grew frustrated as Cloud bested her in every round. Lorik teased her. Weren't you trained to be good at this sort of thing? You're losing your wit there, Neary. She gave Lorik his turn against Cloud, and in turn, Lorik was beaten in every game as well. Near teased back, saying it looked like Cloud was better than him also. Lorik raised his hand to high-five Cloud. All right, you win. Congratulations. Cloud was leaving Lorik hanging, and Near explained that he was supposed to slap his hand to acknowledge his defeat. Cloud gave his hand a light tap, to which Lorik thought was pathetic. Lorik took their mugs back to the bar, and Near could hear how impressed the barmaid was with whatever story he was telling. The ladies always fell for his stories, no matter how outlandish they were. Near overheard a conversation behind her and a term she recognized. A drunk behind them spoke.
You saw him, a paleface. Here in Lynn.
Yeah, he wasn't like the others. No, this one had a nasty look about him. Carson said he was lurking through the village all quiet-like, probably looking for some poor sap to prey on.
Why are we letting them demons in our country? Just look over there. Alan's sitting with the likes of us and he belong.
Near tensed up and Cloud asked what the men were saying.
The way you just slurred those words. You didn't mean to, but it was so perfect.
No, I meant to. I meant to.
It was awesome. I loved it. Y'all are doing awesome with that. Okay, sorry. I'm over here like fangirling over your voices. I'm just like, I love them. I think they sound so funny. They sound so good. They mentioned another elf, Eve, roaming around. Then they commented on you.
Ask them about the Eve.
Cloud, that really isn't a good idea.
Ask them.
Reluctantly, Near turned and approached their table.
What the hell do you want, you bitch?
These are your words, HC. We're not making this one up.
The bitch. I need to write a whole book just in these two guys so we can do something. Where are we? Hold on. The elf you were speaking of, where did he go?
God. Fuck off, you stupid Bale. Lest you want us to turn this sword up your sweet little arse. Oh, boy. Near tensed slightly and then laughed and smacked her rump. The man placed his shitty...
What happened?
That's what it said.
Near did not smack her own butt.
Yes, she did.
I think they smacked her up.
Okay, let me get to this. I am fairly confident that was what happened.
Bunch of Near.
Like, hey.
I could see her doing it to be like, you know what? Oh, it does say he smacked her bottom. Well, all right. I admit defeat.
You're reading that, and that's really what you thought happened, and you just kept going.
Yep, I did think that's what happened. And it made sense. I'm like, I could see Near doing that. Okay, so this creepy guy smacked Near's
Listen,
butt
y'all
instead of
clearly
her
aren't
doing it.
women, because no woman would ever do that. If a guy was threatening to shove something up her butt, she would not smack it in like retaliation.
No.
Oh, I could totally see it as like a taunting move, like fucking try it, you piece of shit.
And then smacks her.
So it made sense to me. Maybe it's because I'm a guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's because you're not a woman. That is funny though.
All right. Okay. So the man placed his shitty dagger on the table, a silent sign of aggression. She knew his knife couldn't cut warm butter. She pressed them again, more firmly.
Tell me where he went.
I don't think I will. Old man King's got a nice board of bread and any pale faces we can find. We don't want you snagging up all the coin now, would we?
This may be Lynn, but we don't want no demon cocksuckers infiltrating our lands.
In fact, I'd say we make good on that and give that little bit proper pushing.
Jesus.
He's like super neat.
Mr. Garrison over here, I think.
Okay.
Near reached for her sword, but quickly stopped herself. What's this? Kitty got claws, does she?
You know the laws, Belle. Even in Lynn, women aren't to carry weapons to fight. Drawing that sword on me will be the last thing you ever do.
She knew this man could easily overpower her. Clutching her sword with rage, her knuckles turned white. Those left in the inn stood and watched the face-off. Cloud slowly reached for his spear at his back. The drunk with the scar on his face pulled Near close as she drew her sword. He was interrupted by the barkeep. She said she wasn't taking any of this shit, so take it outside.
Y'all saw it. A woman pulling out a sword on a man.
The barkeep told Niall, the drunk guy, to get home before his wife found out about this. He grumbled and finished his ale before speaking to Near one last time, pointing to Cloud.
Stay out of our way before we turn this over as well.
Near had hate boiling in her eyes like poison, and the men only laughed at her anger. This wasn't the first time she'd been underestimated, and she never got tired of the sound of laughter turning into screams as she cut down those who thought her weak. The barkeep ushered them outside, and Lorik thanked her for her time. Well, that was frightening. You all right, Neary? Near? She watched the street and quietly turned when a shuffle echoed from across the street as two drunks slinked into the darkness. The two men turned up as Near pulled up behind them. Purple moonlight reflected off her sword, and light lit up their dirty and drunken faces. Look at this, Niall. Stupid bitch thinks she can take us.
If she wants a fight, we'll give her one.
Shitty weapons were drawn by their grubby hands. With his dagger raised above his head, the man without a scar ran forward with a pathetic attempt of a war cry. Near readied herself with her sword, but Cloud appeared behind the man and drove his spear through his back, blood spilling to the ground, and the man whimpering as he wished to die faster. Niall stood in his place, terror replaced with anger. Cloud appeared behind him, holding the man's shitty and rusty sword to his throat. The man begged.
What do you want? I'll give you anything.
Cloud spoke and Near translated.
Where did he go?
He?
The elf you saw before. Where did he go?
I last saw him heading north to Galacia.
What did he look like?
He looked like you heathens. Dark eyes, light hair. Was wearing dark clothes too. Like he was some kind of assassin crawling through the darkness. Avalok, please let me go. I'll never do no harm to another elf. Swear it.
Near was not impressed with his attempt. Her lip twitched with anger and put the tip of her sword to his chest. Only moments ago he felt powerful enough to threaten her life. Yet now that he was in danger, he cowered like a child. It was not the first time she had seen a brave man beg for mercy. Looking into his eyes, she pressed the tip hard against his chest, the sword tip. I don't know if that sounds better.
Yes. Beg. Plead for your life. For your freedom.
He screamed as she pressed the sword harder.
Nirana,
How does it feel to be at the mercy of someone greater than you?
please.
She stood before the man, looking down at him, her eyes seeing red with rage.
Nirana.
His voice pulled her out of the trance she was in. She looked down her sword at the man trembling below her. She stepped back, feeling regret and confusion. Looking at Cloud, she could see concern written on his face. Niall flinched when Near dropped her sword and it clattered on the ground next to him as she fled down the alley.
Well, we did it. The musical chairs of voices.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was really fun. They got Justin wins the prize for the worst voice acting.
Yeah, for sure.
Corin's voice. It's so funny to me because I have had these characters in my head for years, so I know what they sound like. But then when someone else like does them and it's so different, it's just so weird because like I know what they sound like. So whenever you did Corin, he's just like sounds like a modern day from America. Just what you got yourself into this time, Near. And he turns into Cloud.
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to accents, so like.
No, it's okay. I mean, I didn't say what his accent was anyway.
It was
so
like English, so.
Yeah, he's like everybody has like a British accent, I guess. But Corin in my head, he has like a higher pitched voice and he's kind of more like upbeat, like, oh, what'd you get yourself into this time, Near? You know, and you're just like, what'd you get yourself into this time, Near?
Yeah.
It's just different.
Well,
It's not bad, it's just different,
Yeah.
which makes me laugh.
you just have a little bit deeper voice.
There was also something at the end. I don't know if I said it exactly, but Near's eyes get darker when she goes into that trance. I don't know if I said that, but I know in the last paragraph it says her now bright teal eyes fell to the sword in her hand. So whenever she goes into that trance, her eyes actually like darken. And then once she snaps out of it, they return back to their bright teal color.
Is that like alluding to something that we'll find out eventually?
Maybe, but whenever she goes into her rages like that, or whenever she's like pulled into like whatever, and she kind of does what she did here, her eyes darken. I just don't think I outwardly said they get darker, and I don't know why I wouldn't do that. But
I'm just looking at it now. I don't think that you did.
no, all I say is that her now bright eyes. So,
Yeah.
but I never say that they get darker. But yeah, they do. So that was my mistake. I should have mentioned that they, you know. Oh wait, no, I do. I do say it. Halfway down the page, Cloud says Nirana. Nirana, Cloud said, but she didn't hear. Rage had consumed her. How does it feel? Her bright eyes darkened.
Yeah.
So yeah, her eyes
It's
get
pretty
darker when
subtle,
she goes
though.
into like these rages or these trances and stuff.
Very easy to miss. I mean, obviously, I didn't pick up on that. So
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that gets pointed out. It's very subtle, obviously, and I did do that on purpose. Make very subtle hints at things. It becomes more prominent as the story goes on. You notice it more, but in the beginning, I do make it very subtle like that. I'm glad I did put it in there because even I thought I didn't put it in.
I liked in this chapter that like there wasn't like an outright fight in it. I mean, we're on the verge of one. There was, I guess, a verbal altercation, but it was still really like tense because like I didn't know if she was gonna kill him or what she was gonna do. But that was one of kind of my points. One of my last ones is that I did like seeing that dark side to Nier, because a lot of times in books you might be told that somebody, a main character has like a darker side, but I don't feel like a lot of times they act on it. And here she kind of was like, it could have gone a lot worse than it did. Especially if Cloud wasn't there, maybe she would have just ran her sword through him. Yeah, I really got into that part of it, but just that I could just like visualize that very well, like her tone of voice talking down to this guy and him cowering in fear, begging for his life.
Yeah, and you have to think too, Nier has been through a lot. And I mean, she's even said like when she joined the Brotherhood, Ryman was really harsh on her too. Like she would beg him to stop training her and beg him for a break, and he would just say no, and he'd force her to keep training. So she hasn't really had a very good past. So whenever she's put in a situation where someone is threatening her and they are grabbing her body and they're saying they're going to kill her or her friends, and they think they're much more superior than her, she kind of, she knows that they can't do anything to her anymore because of how powerful she is. So she kind of unlocks that anger that, she keeps inside because of all the things that she's been through.
Good points. Yeah, she's kind of gone through some shit. Some of my other points for this chapter where Corin says if they weren't friends, he'd consider taking her in himself. I don't feel like I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if I'd say something like that to one of my friends. Like Justin, like, yeah. I can't even really think of an equivalent, but I was like, oh, well, I don't know. I guess maybe I'd watch my back with this guy if he pops up again.
Well, he said if they weren't friends. He's like, hey, I'm just letting you know, like, if we weren't such good friends, I would consider it too. Like 100 gold, that can change people's lives. So you need to watch your back. Don't trust anybody. It's kind of what he was trying to say. Like, I'm not going to do it, but that doesn't mean somebody else that is your friend won't do it.
Well, I mean, like he says, though, 100 gold pieces is life-changing. So I feel like that doesn't mean he couldn't change his mind on it.
No, I mean, yeah. Very, very true.
But I also did appreciate, where he's talking about how most people get the shit end of nothing, and Nier's got something great, and to not let it go to waste. His kind of glass half full outlook on things. I don't know. Sometimes it seems like you don't always get that side of things either. In the stories, it's always the negative side of things.
Yeah, and Corin actually wasn't in the first edition of the story. I added him into the second edition. Remember I told you guys I added a bunch of stuff, so he wasn't even in it at all. So this scene didn't include any of his dialogue. There was no character that took his place. It was just the trio. And I was like, well, they need a healer or something, because like I said, I don't have a lot of downtime in my book. I didn't want to spend a lot of time watching people heal and sitting around, and I kind of regret that, but it is what it is. So she just kind of got over this really bad injury to her shoulder out of nowhere. So I was like, okay, maybe having her have someone stitch it up would be a good idea. But also Corin, he comes back in the Banished. So like he's not forgotten. He'll come back later, and he's in book 3.
Oh, all right. So is that all we see of him in this book, or is that a read and find out?
No, he doesn't come back in this book. That's not a spoiler. He's not a.
Okay.
This is the only time
that was his part for now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. This game, did we pronounce it right? I couldn't get the little umlauts over the E's, so I don't know. Okay, I was curious about that.
Yep, that was right.
So is it like they call it crib. So is it like cribbage then? I don't even know how to play that. So
I don't know what
That's
cribbage
kind of what I
is.
had in my mind.
I don't know what cribbage
Oh.
is, but I don't really know the
Okay.
rules of the game. I think that there are spoons and dice and cards.
Spoons.
Honestly, though, the idea was I wanted, because I play the Witcher video game, and they have Gwent, which is a card game, and people buy that and they play it at home. Like I have it in this little orange box. I made a Gwent myself, and me and my husband play it. So my idea was, if my books ever take off, I want to have like a board game associated with it. So I was like, let me just create this like little game, because I thought it'd be kind of cool. But like, I don't know how anybody can make a game out of spoons and dice and cards, but I'm sure somebody can figure it out.
Well, get on it.
That's why I put a game in there. I have high aspirations.
Hey, well, shoot high, right?
Yep. One day you will see my board game for my books in stores.
Okay, I can't wait. This is just a throwaway comment, I guess, but I think there was a couple times in this chapter where the phrase "up to no good" was used, and then I think even "times are changing" was in this chapter, and I feel like that was used in a chapter before. So I feel like you must be a big fan of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Bob Dylan.
No.
Well, fuck.
I don't even know the references you're making.
Like, did you never watch the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like the song?
I mean, yeah, I know the song.
Said he was up to
Oh,
good.
up to no
Started
good.
making trouble in my neighborhood. Got one little
Okay.
fight, my
Yep.
mom gets scared. So you probably put your hand here going down.
Holy shit, we had all three of us sing in this episode.
Hey, oh, hey.
Nice job, Justin.
I do.
Oh yeah,
That was
also
awesome.
with the board game Cribs, it's a strategy game. So Lorik beats Nier at the strategy like games, and then Cloud beats Lorik. So that's supposed to kind of, hint at Lorik being a little bit more tactful not tactful, but maybe, I guess. Like he's better at strategies and strategizing things and thinking several steps ahead, more so than Nier is, because as we have seen, Nier is very impulsive and she doesn't really give thought to what she does. She just kind of acts and thinks later. And then it shows Lorik's really good at it, but Cloud's even better than Lorik. So that was supposed to kind of have like some sort of hinted meaning behind it. Just want to point that out.
Thanks.
Cloud's the general then, huh? He's like the military strategist.
Avalok's even better than Cloud.
Uh-oh. Do they sit down and have a game together?
I don't think so. They should, though.
Well, they should, yeah. You could put that in the next book. Book
Yeah, book 4. Here we go. I was going to add into book 3 really quick. I haven't published it yet.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, add it as in like
Just
a
a random
bonus scene
thought.
afterwards. Like, after the end credits of a movie, always goes,
just him and Cloud just
having a game of wits. And then you keep that going for every book. They're just
oh my god.
doing that this whole time.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny. But they only do like one move. So it's just one move, and then the next book is another move, and then by the end of the series you find out who wins.
Exactly.
And then the plot twist is that one of them is actually going to be the conspirator of all that's happening. And so they'll do their checkmate and they'll be the winner of the whole series.
Yep.
See, they're the real villains.
That's right.
I also liked the distinction where Cloud couldn't read the human numbers on the cards, and that they had to scribble the Elvish numbers on them, Eve-ish numbers. I think it makes sense that not everybody can read, just like English or, whatever the common tongue is in the books. Yeah, I thought that was a good touch.
Thank you. I get a lot of compliments on that, actually, and I kind of assumed it was way more common in fantasy than it is, where characters can't speak other languages. Like, it seems like everyone just kind of understands everyone's languages, and that's not really realistic. So Cloud speaks Elvish. He doesn't know English, writing or otherwise, so he would not be
Right,
able to
why
read
would
the
he?
symbols.
And then I think my last thing here was the purple moonlight. That kind of threw me off a little bit. Is that just the color of like the moon in the world?
Yep, it's just purple.
Okay.
No reason.
I was just reading that and I was like, oh,
Yeah, my editor said the same thing. He was like, "That's a little too fantastical. You should probably make it normal." And I just ignored him because I wanted purple moonlight. So it's purple.
All right. Hey, that's fine with me. So
whenever it's nighttime, the world glows purple. So for book 3, it's kind of like greenish because it's not dark. But book 4 is pretty much going to be this exact same cover, but all the glowing stuff is going to be like super vibrant. And it's going to be a purple background because it's going to be nighttime. So it'll be like the moonlight shining through. So it'll be really pretty.
oh, you've already got that planned out, huh?
You do.
Fair enough. Makes sense. Now I'm like looking at the book cover.
You're looking at book 1, though.
Yeah, I know.
Book 1 is in a cave.
I know, but I mean, is it supposed to have, I guess, is what you're saying about, the 3rd and 4th book, do the 1st and 2nd book have that type of theme?
What do you mean?
Like with how you envision the color of the...
Oh, yeah. So book 1, I wanted it to have, whenever she did book 1, it was very purple because I wanted there to be like a purpley bluish kind of color. And then teal, I made this, it's not really teal, but kind of like a light blue teal color because of Nir's eyes. So I kind of wanted it to reflect that a little bit. So that's why the trees are like a bluish color. But then, yeah, there's a lot of purples and a lot of like blues and stuff because I wanted it. It's not really reminiscent of the moonlight. It's just kind of the vibe I wanted. And then book 2, which I have way over there and I don't feel like going to get it. You can see it. So sort of right there. Hello. It's in the desert and I want it to have a sunset. So it's kind of like really glowy and orange. And then this one is it's in the daytime, sort of. I wanted this one to be at the nighttime, but then I realized book 4 is also going to be in the forest. So they're going to be like the same. So that's why book 1 is in Namashell, because that's where they're going. And book 1 is their goal is to get to the cave. Book 2, they're in the desert. So book 2 cover is in the desert. And then book 3 and 4 are both in the forest. So they'll both be the same cover. Just one's going to be darker since they're in the same place. And then book 5 will be where they go in book 5. And then book 6 will be where they go in book 6. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did. I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure what answer you were looking for. So I just gave you a bunch of them.
Hey, all of them work.
Okay. So yeah, but if you look and see, the tree gets darker. If you can see.
Yeah.
Might be a little hard to tell at least it's hard to tell on my computer.
Yeah,
but.
no, it's not as saturated.
Let me. Ow. Okay. So you can't really tell too much if you go from like book 1 to book 2, like you can, but it's not that much of a difference. And then you can't really tell too much when you go from like book 2 to book 3. But if you go from book 1 to book 3, like you can see the trees slowly get darker.
Oh, yeah.
So that's also
that is easier to tell there.
So I told her to make it super subtle. So like you can't tell if it's like 2 books next to each other, but like book 1 compared to book 6, you'll definitely be able to tell that they get way darker. So that's also a theme I had going.
Nice.
I'm assuming that represents the trees dying.
Maybe.
All right.
These represent a lot of things.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I think my kiddos are struggling with the dogs, so I gotta...
Kicking us off.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I've got my parents' dog too, and I think she's got a UTI now because I had hockey this morning, and then when I was just pulling into the driveway, and my kid texted me and said, Harley peed on the carpet, and so then took her out, and yeah, she's peeing blood a little bit, so.
That sucks. You may want to take her to the vet too. She could have some kind of kidney issue.
None of the vets are open on the weekends here, so
yeah, that's
just
true.
keeping an eye on her, and my parents will be back tomorrow. So, yeah, she's sleeping now, last I heard. So,
all right. Well, this was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah. On a more positive note, instead of sick dogs. So, yeah. Well, I don't know if I'll probably read these next 2 chapters today yet.
I have more editing and summarizing to do for our other book.
And now we're going to be looking for Avalok, the assassin in the night, with his giraffe swords.
I'm excited for that. I don't know if it's going to be in these next 2 chapters, but I know I'm getting pretty close to one of those inserts that you have in the book.
Oh, yeah. I don't know exactly where it is, but you are getting close.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want to look at it, but I'm going to hold myself.
Yeah, don't look at it. Spoilers, don't look at it.
All right. I will not.
Resist the urge. It's like whenever you're on the last page of a chapter and your eyes, like you have to physically force your eyes not to go to the last sentence. I don't know what it is, but like you have to read the last sentence of the last, like, of the chapter every time. I have to force my eyes not to look at it. It's so annoying.
I find myself having to do that, but not reading like the first sentence of the next chapter.
Yep.
But
oh my God. No, it's always the last sentence for me. I have to cover it up with my hand or something because my eyes are just like, it's a struggle. I have to stop myself from doing it. It's funny.
Nice. Well, I hope you guys have a good day, and we will do this again soon. Justin, whenever you want to do Malazan, I don't know what you're doing, HC. I'm ready whenever you want to do Malazan. Kelly's gone all week, so I'm home alone this week. So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably do some more summarizing tonight and probably do some summarizing at work. So, yeah.
I don't think your sections weren't as bad as mine.
No, they're still pretty conversational, though. So, capturing that might be a pain in the tuchus.
HC agrees.
Mm-hmm. It was a pain. A lot of work to do.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, have a good rest of your weekend here. HC, I'm glad you're back on a normal sleep schedule again. So.
I actually woke up a little early today. I was just like, I want to go back to sleep, but gotta do the podcast.
Thanks for taking the time to be with us again, though.
Yes, it's fun. Now we gotta do the chapters faster because I'm into this book now. So let's go.
All right. We'll see you,
Book 3 is coming out. We gotta hurry it up.
see you in a couple weeks.
All right.
See you guys.
All right.
Bye.
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 DMJ's Epic Quest. DMJ's Epic Quest. DMJ's Epic Quest. CMJ's Epic Quest. CMJ's Epic Quest. CMJ's Epic Quest. CMJ's Epic Quest.